What's good, Faith family? It is your girl LA and Miss Cavatica, and we are rolling in the state of Texas, my Texas to be exact. Welcome to my new series entitled My Texas, where, like I said, I heard that you can spend your entire life in the state of Texas and never see all that it has to offer. So this year I've made it my personal goal to tackle my bucket list of going to some wonderful places right here in my own backyard. And so if you guys have been keeping up with me on this journey, you know we were rolling into Alpine, Texas, and today, I think this is day 3, part 1, we are headed out to the McDonald Observatory in Fort David to the Star Party. A day it was. We spent the morning on a beautiful ride out to I think it was metropolis town of Talingua, and then we did do some riding toward Big Bend, but in the evening we headed out to the McDonald Observatory to the nighttime star party to see the galaxy and the stars and the astronomy and the study of astronomy and all of those things that our beautiful heavens has to offer. And so here we are making our way toward Fort Davis to go to the star party. It starts at 8:15 and it ends at 10:45. Now, this is when I realized probably why my husband calls me Dory sometimes. And it's because as we were on this ride and it was just so beautiful, and I'm looking around at everything and just taking everything in, it never dawned on me, as long as this ride was getting out to the McDonald Observatory, that we were going to have to ride this same route back to the hotel at night. Yep, so I'm just listening to my music and jamming away and looking around, enjoying the scenery. And, I'm like, man, it's a long ride out here. And, my husband said, yeah, and it's going to be even longer in the dark. And that's when it hit me. Oh, my God. We're going to have to ride this joker back at night. Yeah, this adventure was definitely going to test my faith. So here we are arriving in Fort David, population 855, making our way up to the McDonald Observatory, which sits up on a mountain. I think the altitude is 6,800 feet, and it is one of the highest maintained roads in the state of Texas. And when I tell you the ride up it was switchbacks and all that good stuff, and it was just absolutely beautiful, especially at sunset. But here we are in the town of Fort David, and it's kind of a little misleading, a little bit, because you see all this flat road and little town you riding through, and you don't realize that even once you hit the town, there's still another 55 minutes to go before you start making your way up the mountain to the observatory. But a little bit about the observatory. McDonald Observatory is a research unit of the University of Texas at Austin, and is one of the world's leading centers for astrological research, studies, and teaching, and public education and outreach. The observatory facilities are located atop Mount Lachey and Mount Folks in the Davis Mountain of West Texas. And I'm beginning to see that West Texas has some beautiful roads to ride on your bikes. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But out in that area, it is known for being one of the darkest night skies in the continental United States. And when I tell you, like I said, riding out here looking around, I was just like, okay, this is absolutely beautiful, and had no idea that we was gonna have to be riding these roads back in the pitch black of night. And when I tell you, if we had cut our lights off, you could not see anything. You could not see your hand in front of your face, which I guess that's why they have the observatory out here in the night sky, because once you get on top of that mountain and it's just you and the night sky, it is absolutely wonderful. So as we're making our way out of the town of Fort David and we're starting to head up into the mountains, and you can kind of tell we were, making our way toward a higher altitude because we could feel the road, heading upward. We could see the beautiful rays of the sun, and you could feel the temperature starting to drop and get a little chilly. And for some reason, it reminded me of the Tail of the Dragon, because you start going into it and then all of a sudden you start hitting these curves and these switchbacks, and you're going up a mountain, it and you see it and you feel it. But it was absolutely gorgeous, and it was just a wonderful opportunity to see what my state of Texas has to offer as far as riding the beautiful roads of West Texas. And I ain't gonna lie, as we were headed up the mountain and taking these curves, and you're seeing the sun rays behind the mountains and the clouds and everything, I just kept thinking about Moses, going up on, Mount Sinai and talking to God. And it just reminded me of that's how it looked. It was just so majestic almost. And, and recording these things and getting video footage and photos, it never really does justice to what your natural eye see when you are on these rides. And so, we as content creators, we try to capture the moments and bring them to you live and as real as possible. But, you have to get out on the road. And I would implore anyone who's interested in riding, a Can-Am Spyder on the open road, do it because you will not regret it. It is one of the most beautiful rides you will ever have in your life. And I'm telling you, the views that you get when you're riding through nature and you're riding through God's country is just absolutely gorgeous. You get a sense of who He is, and all that He has to offer. So we made it here to the McDonald Observatory.
Hi, y'all.
Hey.
Good, how are you? Good, how are y'all?
Good. And finally made it up here. And we're driving back at night. We rode our bikes up here. Crazy. Uh-oh.
You and Billy got tickets together? You're probably both gonna have to go.
Crazy. Oh my goodness. So this should be fun. With a few minutes on our hands, we had time to, meander through the astronomy gift shop that's located on site at the McDonald Observatory, and, just kind of take in some of the sights and see what they had to offer. Beautiful mugs and t-shirts and hoodies and, puzzles and games and stuff for the kids. And it was just absolutely wonderful to see all of just the gear. The t-shirts were absolutely gorgeous with, the night skies on them. They had glow-in-the-dark t-shirts. And so really wonderful. If you guys ever want to check it out, I would recommend it, highly recommend it that you do so. So after meandering through the gift shop, we decided to, go and look for our seats at the amphitheater. Actually, it's called the Helen S. Martin Star Amphitheater. Really gorgeous, and kind of give you some ideas if you wanted to set up something like this in your backyard if you lived out in the country. But it was a wonderful area that they had designated with the huge telescope and everything out there, and it was just open to the sky. But this was called the Star Party, where we enjoyed the night sky constellation tour and all the celestial objects through a number of telescopes. And we really got to see the stars and understand what the stars really were, and then see some of the constellations, the Milky Way. It was absolutely gorgeous. And even though it was kind of cloudy and overcast, once it got dark and everything started to settle in, it was just absolutely gorgeous. So here we go. Take a look at it.
Department of Astronomy at UT Austin. But at the same time, we also do realize that perhaps the news of being on campus is not the best thing for some of you. Presumably most of you, given the response. So because of that, I would like to say welcome as well to our Texas A&M friends Okay, that's why. There's one in every crowd. All right. And we say that because the University of Texas at Austin and Texas A&M University are working together on two major projects in astronomy, one of which is taking place on our largest telescope, which is that one over there. On top of Mount Fulks over there is our 10-meter Hobby Everly telescope. It is our newest and largest optical telescope here, and it is also the home of a multi-year research project known as the Dark Energy Experiment. Then UT, A&M, and 12 additional partners are all working together to build a very large telescope down in the southern hemisphere, down in Chile.
So once they got through all the introductions and everything, they explained to us that they did not want you to have your cell phones on, no cell lights, no cameras, flashes, or anything of that nature. So I did not get any recordings or photos, but take my word for it, it was absolutely gorgeous once the clouds rolled back and gave way to the beautiful night sky. Getting ready to leave the observatory, headed back to the hotel. Godspeed. Yeah, so about that beautiful ride out to the McDonald Observatory, I had no idea that all that beautiful road that we rode on, you know, that ride going up the mountain to the observatory, we were going to have to ride back in the dark. And when I tell y'all, you could not see your hand in front of your face, it was like someone put their hand up in the air, grabbed the chain, and cut the lights out. It was pitch black, and it was just mind-blowing that we did that whole ride. As beautiful as it was, we had to do that same ride back in the dark. But that's when upgrading your Can-Am Spyder lights, your fog lights, upgrade them babies, because you never know when you need bright lights, bright lights. So if by chance you find yourself in my neck of the woods, my Texas, please check out the McDonald Observatory in Fort David, Texas, because it is absolutely gorgeous. And get tickets for the Star Party. It's about 2 hours in length, and when I tell you, it just explores the galaxies to no end and really educates you on the galaxy and the stars and the sun and all of the planets and everything that the night sky has to offer that you can't see from the city. You have to be out in this neck of the woods to understand what the galaxy and the atmosphere is really like. Not to mention the ride itself. The ride headed to Fort David to see the galaxy, the atmosphere, the heavens. Oh my God, the ride was absolutely gorgeous. And because it is the Star Party and it started around, I think 8 o'clock or something like that, because they need the sky to be dark, you know, we were headed up during sundown. And so to watch the sun going down and to the weather was absolutely gorgeous, to see the mountains and the sky and the clouds and just everything, you know, transitioning, making ready for us to see the beautiful heavens at night was absolutely gorgeous. And so listen, I hope you guys are enjoying my Texas. Like they said, you can live your entire life in the state of Texas and not see all that it has to offer. And so I decided this year to share my state of Texas with you guys so you can see, yeah, we got some cool places too. Yes, we do. And I'm going to take you on those adventures. I love you guys. Stay tuned. There's more.